In this recording, we're going to assess the view that the process of globalization has led to changes in both the amounts of crime and the types of crime. So, globalization is defined as the increasing interconnectedness of societies. Media technologies, mass migration, and cheap air travel has increased the number of TNCs that produce and market their goods in a global marketplace, which has also increased the opportunity for crime by elite people who can use insider trading. There are many different types of globalized crime, and some of these include arms trafficking, which is the movement of illegal weapons for war, human trafficking, which is the movement of humans for things like the sex industry, cybercrime, which can be seen as fraud or hacking, such as when North Korea hacked Sony, terrorism, such as the growth of ISIS, and money laundering, which is the movement of illegal money from separate accounts to hide their illegal origin. And Castells believe that there is a criminal global economy which is worth up to £1 trillion a year. However, it's impossible to get an accurate figure because obviously it's illegal, so most of it will be hidden. The socialist Taylor believes that globalization has increased crime by giving free rein to market forces. Globalization has led to an increase of inequality and an increase of insecurity, and this has then led to an increase in crime. Globalization has led to increased materialism as an increase of crime because it spreads greed around the world and destroys jobs in the West. The resulting strain from lack of legitimate opportunities may encourage the poor to adopt criminal behaviour in order to achieve material goods. Globalization has resulted in increases in domestic crime because transnational corporations increasingly switch production away from the West to the developing world. TNCs may overlap between criminal organisations and powerful wealthy elites who launder money in order to make it look legal. However, the problem with Taylor is that not all people turn to crime, so Taylor's theory cannot explain the case for everyone. So if we move over to the Modernist View and postmodernists like Beck, who believe that global crime has created a global risk consciousness and an increased risks because we are increasingly at risk from crime that originates thousands of miles away. Global risk consciousness has resulted in Western governments tightening immigration controls, which led to media hysteria about immigrants and asylum seekers and an increase in hate crime such as racist attacks. Late modernists like Hobbes and Dunningham believe that crime is increasingly global because crime is still locally based, but it is now more likely to have global connections. For example, sex trafficking for prostitution. Women are usually supplied from the third world to the first world. And another example is the legal drugs trade means that local prices and the availability of drugs in any city in the UK depends on how effectively the global drug trade can move drugs around the world without being detected. However, the problem with global crimes is that global crime such as the drug trade has always been globalized, so it's nothing new, just the scale has been increased. And also traditionalists, which is a globalization theory that believes that this system of global trade has existed for years, but is now just an advanced form of capitalism, not a new thing, opening up new crimes. So moreover, Glennie believes that the rise of the Mac Mafia, which is organised crime, in Russia and Eastern Europe after the end of communism meant that those who bought up oil or gas became the new capitalist. In order to protect their wealth, some turned to the Mac Mafias that had sprung up. Glennie believes that globalisation has increased opportunities for certain individuals to make money, and then some people have turned to mafias to help them get their money out of the country. So if we move over to cybercrime, and this is basically new global communications have created fresh opportunities for crime such as financial scams, credit card fraud and phishing. Many global criminal networks have developed because of inequalities in the global criminal networks, and crime has developed in the global capitalist economy and in terms of world trade. For example, Colombian farmers would prefer to grow illegal crops such as the coca plants, as it brings more money in their global economy rather than just the conventional crops that are legal. An aspect of globalisation that has been linked to the rise of globalisation is green crime. Marxists would argue that criminal gangs and transnational corporations can also commit global crimes such as green crime, which are damaging to the global environment. For example, dumping toxic waste and radioactive waste in developing countries. White believes that crime should be defined as any action that harms the physical environment and any of the creatures that live within it, even if no law has been technically broken. Green criminology takes an ecocentric view of environmental harm because they argue that humans do not have the right to exploit the environment and other species for their own benefit. So now we can evaluate globalisation for its usefulness, because globalisation gives countries a chance to coordinate anti-crime policies and also may help to reduce environmental damage. And globalisation may increase living standards in poorer countries and possibly help to reduce crime. However, a further issue is that green crime is too vague of an idea, and green crime and globalised crime is too difficult to police because international laws are ill-defined and the international criminal justice system doesn't have the global power to pursue global criminals. So in conclusion, you could argue that globalisation is not that new of a concept. For example, we have been through other periods of globalisation such as the run-up to World War I.